Hi, everybody. It's Professor Inge here. I'm really excited to be learning with all of you about social media this week. So we have a lot of things that we're going to be doing for our clients, and a lot of it centers around social media. So today we're going to take a look at some basic fundamentals of social media marketing and how they can help us as communications professionals develop a strong strategy for our clients and frankly for ourselves as well. So there are a couple of fundamentals we need to think about when we think about social media marketing. The first, one of the most important ones, in fact, is the difference between organic and paid social media. So organic social media is any content that's posted to your social media profiles, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, without any paid promotion. Now, paid social media conventionally are certain types of paid promotion on social only, typically ads and what are called boosted posts, which are on Facebook posts that you pay to be shown to a particular target audience. And you can also do something similar on Twitter. This doesn't include influencer campaigns. So if you pay an influencer to talk about your brand, if you develop a partnership with your influencer, that would not be considered a paid campaign. It's strictly advertising and boosted posts. It's a little bit of a tricky phrase because, again, you are paying for an influencer campaign, but that is a special category of its own. Now, taking a deeper dive into organic social media, that's anything that you post to your brand social media account that's not an ad, as we said before. Now, the thing to remember about organic social media is that the typical post on Facebook, for instance, reaches fewer than 5% of a brand's fans. So let's say you have 1,000 people who have liked your page on Facebook, your brand's page on Facebook, fewer than 5% of those. So 10% would be 100, 5% would be only 50 people would see that post out of the 1,000 people who have liked your page on Facebook. Now, this varies by channel, of course. Engagement can vary greatly with Instagram's algorithm updates. There are times when people will get really great results from posting to their stories, and then a week or two later, with no warning, people are getting better response to posting just standard feed images with 8 hashtags. Then another couple of weeks later, you might get a better response out of having 5 hashtags, and so on and so forth. So it's very unpredictable, first of all, how much engagement and response you're going to get from an organic post, and whether the majority of people who have liked or followed you on social media are even going to see that at all. So it is an area where you also get a little less data on who's engaging with your page. You might get basic information like their location, their ages, their time of day that they engage with you, but you won't get a deep dive profile into what your fans are interested in, what other pages they like, what other accounts they follow. You won't get that kind of information for your organic posts. Where you will get that information is with your paid posts. Now, paid posts can be both ads and boosted posts. Ads can be targeted to specific groups of consumers by their behaviors, their demographics. So, for instance, their gender identity, their age, their zip code, their education level, and so on and so forth. You can target people by their affiliation. For instance, are they in a particular school's alumni association? Are they in the Northeastern Alumni Association? Are they a member of, let's say, Accountants of America, if you're targeting accountants for your brand? So whatever types of affiliations or behaviors there are online, you can target a social media ad to people based on those behaviors or those affiliations. You can also target by interest. So let's say, for instance, you are promoting a brand that sells sporting equipment. You can target people who are into soccer, aka football, who go fishing, who go hunting, who go playing tennis. You can target people by all of those interests. Now, ads can be a range of different media types. They can be carousels of set of images. They can be a video. They can be one static image. It's really important, regardless of who you're targeting with your ads and what types of media you're using in your paid ads, to set a goal for every ad campaign. Now, on an organizational level, you have to decide, what do we want the end result of this ad campaign to be? Because ads are expensive. You're spending money on these ads. You want to see whether you're going to get more sales, more awareness, more foot traffic coming into your brick and mortar location. And then within the different social media platforms, you also need to set a goal within the ad platform for what the result is, the action is that you're paying to have consumers take. You can pay, for instance, by the impression. In that case, the goal is to simply have as many people as possible see your ad. You can pay to promote an app, and you're paying per download of that app. You can pay to drive traffic within a certain geographic area into a specific location. And then you actually are paying by how many people with their phones on who saw the ad are later then traced back to having gone into your location. That kind of data can be invaluable, as can the data about people's behaviors, demographics, and affiliations, but it can also be very intrusive. So you also really have to decide ethically how much data you want to collect on consumers. You may draw the line at tracking people as they walk around the city and come into your store. You should know that ads can actually track that kind of behavior, but you may decide you don't want any part of that. Now, boosted posts, on the other hand, are organic posts that are promoted to a specific target audience. You can target the exact same types of audiences as you can target with an ad for a boosted post. So you can target people by age, you can target people by the clubs that they're members of, the sports that they play, the stores that they shop at, just as much as for an ad. It is, in fact, an ad really in all but name. A boosted post is simply a regular organic post that you may have posted to Facebook, and then you pay to have it be shown to a specific target audience. It's still a regular social media post. You're just paying to have more people see it. You can do this with LinkedIn and Twitter as well. So now that we've talked a little bit about the differences between paid and organic social media, there's another important difference that we want to observe, and that's the difference between content creation on social media and content curation. Content creation is when you write original posts, or you make original videos for social media, or you share your own blog posts or content that you've created elsewhere on social media in order to drive traffic back to your site or get people to take a specific action like buying your products. Curation, on the other hand, is when you share content from other content curators. That could be from other content creators. That could be anything from a blog post that was written in an industry publication that you admire, to some social media content that you repost that you particularly liked. Typically speaking, you want to follow what's called the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you post should be non-promotional. It should be original posts that are not trying to sell any products or services to people, and it should maybe, in a large part, curation. In other words, other people's content that you're lifting up and that you're promoting. There are other different proportions that are out there. Some people say 40% curation, 30% responding to other people and engaging in conversations on social media, and then the remaining 30% can be promotional, but that should also include posting your own blog posts and so on and so forth. But I really like the 80-20 rule for its simplicity. 80% of what you post should be non-promotional. 20% of what you post can be promotional. So on the creation side, that is posting your own original content, I like to divide the kinds of social media content that most brands create into 3 different types. The first is engagement. Those are your conversation starters, your polls, your questions that you ask of your audience. They're meant to get people to talk to you and engage in a conversation with you. Then you actually can create content for social media. So if you're on TikTok, you're really creating content marketing that happens to live on a social media platform. You're making videos, you're doing live streams, maybe you're doing an Instagram live with informational content. Maybe you're doing a live demo. Maybe you're sharing important information about your industry or your sector. So for instance, if Husky Communications were to start a TikTok, we could post one 60-second marketing tip every single day. That would be content marketing. We would be giving people useful tips, and that would be content that people would find informational and educational. It wouldn't necessarily be promoting Husky Communications so much as giving people some useful and interesting information. And then finally, yes, you definitely should be posting some promotions to your social media accounts, but these should be the minority of the posts that you create for social media. You want to promote your products and services a couple of times a week, but no more than that. You don't want everything you post to social media to be something aggressively trying to sell your products and services or talking about how wonderful your brand is. Most of the content you post should be something that's informational and educational for your target audience. And that brings us to curation. Curation is when you share content from other sources like publications, blogs, other influencers. And the goal here is not to promote your brand at all. It is to become a go-to resource in your sector. In other words, as Husky Communications, we could potentially, for instance, be sharing content from other marketing publications around the world. And again, for those of you who are new to the program, Husky Communications is the student-run agency that we're all a part of. And we have our own marketing. And this would be how we would market ourselves, to give you just an example of the types of content we could post. Let's say that sporting goods company I was talking about before, they could share tips about, for instance, how to pick a good fishing spot in the summer to appeal to the fishing audience that they're selling fishing gear to. But it wouldn't be something that they wrote as their own blog post or made as their own TikTok. It would be something that they found in a sporting publication, and they would share that content from another publication. Now, why should you share content that isn't your own content? Well, there's a couple of different reasons to do that. Again, one is to become a go-to resource in your sector. Very few brands can write so much useful content that they become the encyclopedic guide to everything in their sector. If you really want to give people useful content, useful information, become one of those accounts everyone simply must follow, because the information that you share is so useful, you're going to have to start sharing other people's information and content as well. The other reason to do that is to build relationships. If you start retweeting or reposting key influencers' content that they created, they're going to recognize that you're trying to build a relationship with them, that you're trying to amplify their voice, and they might reciprocate that by reposting your content or interacting with you or recommending your brand to their audience. So it's a good way to build connections and network virtually. And then finally, as part of corporate social responsibility, it can be a great way to amplify voices in your community. Every one of us, as we have walked our paths to success, have been helped by many other people. And so once your brand has become successful, this is a way they can help other emerging brands, other emerging voices in their industry or in their community build a wider audience by sharing their content, their best videos, their best posts with their own wider audience. So it's really a way of supporting other creators within your sector as well. And that shouldn't be underestimated. It's often one of the most rewarding parts of content curation. So this may seem like an awful lot, right? We have to create organic posts. Some of those posts have to be content creation. Some of them have to be content curation. At the same time, we not only have to create ads, but those ads have to be targeted at people by specific interests. How do we track all of that? Well, we track it by creating social media calendars. Calendars are just that. They are a calendar, just like this wonderful calendar that I have here as a paper organizer. It's got the days of the week, and it's got what I'm supposed to be doing every single day of the week. Well, that's exactly what a social media calendar is, except that it's focused on what you're going to be posting to social media. So for instance, let's say it's the first day of March. I have a beautiful blank calendar here. Let's say tomorrow I'm going to write a blog post. What I would do here is I'm going to write in for Tuesday the 2nd, I'm going to write a blog post. Well, you can do the exact same thing online, and you can share that calendar with everybody on your team as well as with your client. That's going to help everybody see immediately what the strategy is. So let's say it is March, it's Women's History Month. Let's say you are well, I can give you an example, my own co-working space. It is also a community, Impact Hub Boston, for people in social enterprise. It's not just an office space in downtown Boston, but it's also a online and in-person community for anybody trying to start or scale a nonprofit, a B corporation, or any other social entrepreneurship, social impact organization. So we just finished up posting once a day honoring African American innovators for Black History Month. Now it's Women's History Month, and we can start posting every single day promoting women innovators. So now I look at the calendar, I can see that we have the first week of content featuring women innovators already scaled up. We can see that last month we were focusing on Black innovators for Black History Month. And so now I can immediately see what are we promoting. What are we talking about on social media? And everybody within the organization can see that content in one place. I can also see that we're promoting our upcoming events, from coffee conversations to important workshops. And it's all in one place at a glance, available to everyone within the organization. This can be really important in creating buy-in, especially with clients. You can show them at a glance how hard you're working to get their name out there. And you can show them what themes you're pursuing and what topics you're pursuing to help them understand the strategy that you've created for them. And then rolling it up one level, this is also going to help you identify whether the social media that you're doing is mapping to organizational goals. So for instance, one of Impact Hub Boston's goals is to support social entrepreneurs. And so celebrating the innovators of the past helps us meet that organizational goal. If you're a sporting goods company, your organizational goal is to sell more sporting goods. And if you're, for instance, throughout the month of March celebrating famous women athletes, that's helping to support that organizational goal indirectly by giving people useful information to interact with that's sports related, and therefore engaging to the audience. It's going to get more people to follow you on social media who love sports, and that in turn is going to translate into more online orders, more people coming into your store, more people shopping. So it's going to help you verify that all of the content you're posting isn't just randomly posting whatever people felt like posting that day. It's all very goal directed. It's going to help support the overall communication strategy, which in turn is going to help support the organization's goal. And the simplest reason why you're doing all of this, it is in fact a lot of content to have an effective social media strategy, and having it all in one place is going to help you organize your content. Now that I know that tomorrow I have to write a blog post, it's right there in my calendar. I'm going to know that I have to write a blog post tomorrow, and I will get right on it because it's in one place. And again, a social media calendar is typically not an individual paper notebook calendar. It's an online calendar, although you can also always have something posted on the wall of your office as well. In fact, this is an example of a good content calendar. You know that you can see that it's nothing fancy. You can use Excel spreadsheets for this. You can use Google Docs for this. It's a simple table. Looks like it was created in Google Docs, and it's going to give you several weeks of content. You can see here, week 5, we've got a couple of blog posts coming out, and it lists the author, it lists the due date, it lists the topic, then a little bit more about the content and the details of what that blog post is going to contain, the keywords, the key phrases that this is structured around for SEO purposes, but also potentially you can put the hashtags in there that you're going to use on social media. And then it's going to obviously include a photo because visuals are so important in social media marketing. And so it's a really simple organizer. Again, a spreadsheet will do. You don't have to invest in any kind of fancy software. As long as you're tracking what are you posting to social media week by week or day by day, what are the topics, what are the specific ways you're going to approach the topic, and what are the keywords that you're targeting or the hashtags that you're targeting, and make sure that you also create some sort of a visual and connect it easily and conveniently right there. So how do you develop an effective social media strategy? Well, it is a 6-step process. First, select the right channels. Where is your community? Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram? What channels do they prefer? But also think about what's the type of content that we can generate. Are you good at video? Great. Have a YouTube channel, have a TikTok, do Instagram Live. On the other hand, if you're a talented graphic designer, Instagram and LinkedIn might be better places to be creating content for, like infographics and great photography. So think about where your audience is, but also think about what's realistic for your brand to be able to create, and also what's on brand for them. It may not be on brand for them to be on TikTok. It may, for other brands, not be on brand for them to be on LinkedIn. So take that into consideration as you develop your social media strategy of what's appropriate for the brand. Then develop your paid targeting. How do you define your target audience? What clubs do they belong to? Where do they go? Where do they dine? Where do they shop? What demographics do they have? What zip codes are they in? You can target people by pretty much any facet of their lives or personalities nowadays because of all the data that we have about consumers. So think about how you define your target audience. Are they people who, for instance, watch soccer on television, or people who like to go golfing? What is it about your audience that will make them your ideal audience? Then create your content calendar where you define at a bare minimum the topics that you're going to cover that will support your efforts to reach that target audience. What media you're going to create. Are they going to be videos? Are they going to be blog posts, polls, quizzes? What types of media are the best way to convey that message and really engage your audience? What would they like to see? And also, what are your in-house capabilities? And then again, define the keywords or the hashtags that you're going to be targeting. Now comes the fun part. Write the content or design the content or make the videos. Then while you're doing all of that, you want to curate some lists. Think about the interesting accounts that you wish to follow in your industry or sector. So if you're a sporting goods store, who do you like to follow on Instagram? Is it Sports Illustrated? Is it famous athletes? Who do you like to follow? Curate a list of them. And then start looking at all of those different accounts for interesting content. Then start curating that content. Share the most compelling information and posts from your curated lists of accounts that are worth following. Tag those accounts and connect with them thoughtfully. Say, I really love this blog post from this particular brand, and then share on social media and tag them and use appropriate hashtags so that you're giving them a little bit of a brand elevation. And keep doing all of these steps. You never really stop selecting the right channels. Things always evolve, always change. So make sure that you're always re-verifying that you're on the right channels for your brand. Always look at the audiences that are available for you to target. Always think about what other information should I be adding to my content calendar. Always be adding new interesting accounts to your curated lists and be curating their content and sharing it out with your audience. And most importantly, always have fun creating content. So those are the essentials of social media content marketing. I know it's a lot of information, but I really hope that you enjoyed this lecture and enjoyed learning a little bit more about content marketing, and also briefly at the beginning of this video, meeting my dog Eddie. Um, I hope that you are already thinking about how we can best help our clients. What kind of content do we want to curate for them? What kinds of topics can we write about for them? What are the important hashtags and keywords that we want to engage with and build content around for them? It's an exciting adventure to be a content marketer today, to come up with a content strategy. And as you start in on this journey, just feel free to brainstorm any ideas of what are the best topics for our clients, what are the types of audience that they need to be reaching, what are some of the accounts that they should be following and curating from. We can keep refining this as we work together to build out a great content calendar and amplify the voices of our clients. Again, this is Christina Inge. It's been great sharing this information about content marketing with you. See you live online Wednesday and in the Canvas discussions. Have a great day or evening or whenever you are watching this video. Take care and see you soon.